How are you going to say Jesus is the Messiah? Like he did nothing, accomplished nothing. Even the things he said he didn't accomplish anything. The only thing he accomplished are things that he wasn't supposed to do to begin with, and that the text has been completely altered.
Yep, very true. Okay, well, Rabbi, we'll go ahead if you like and take this first caller.
Sure.
Okay, very good. Caller, you live on the air. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
My name is Michael, and I'm calling in from Tampa, Florida.
Welcome, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great. My question for the rabbi is that I've been following for a while, love the content. I'm a recently departed Christian, and so I'm trying to learn this whole thing. And some of the pushback that I'm getting back from my church is that the Jews don't track the lineage, that there may be some from the Levitical line that track the lineage, but not the other tribes. And so if the Messiah must come from the tribe of Judah through the line of David, how would the Jews know that is, and I apologize if this question's come up before, but how would the Jews know do we have reliable genealogies to show that they're from that tribe and from that line? That's the question.
Right. That is a good question. Okay, Michael, thank you. Go ahead and hang up now and tune in for your answer, okay? Thank you.
Thanks.
So think this through, Michael, for a moment. Imagine if somebody has their genealogy on paper, on parchment, on vellum, chiseled into a rock, all right, that traces every parent, grandparent, great-grandparent, only men, biological, can't be through adoption, biological, and going back to King David. Okay, King David lived roughly 3,000 years ago. Would that make the person the Messiah? No. I'm making this number up, surely millions of men today that are from the tribe of Judah. It's the largest tribe. It was then, it is still to this today. Okay? House of David is smaller than that, but still huge. That doesn't make you the Messiah. Now, I want to take the other angle. I want to just approach this from the other angle because people don't think this through. I don't blame you. Love you, Michael. Great question. But people are not thinking this through. When Mashiach comes, please God, it will be quickly in our time. Events will unfold. That will convey that the Messiah is here. First of all, Elijah the prophet will come introducing the Messiah. That's how the book of Malachi ends. Book of Malachi is really important here. Why? It's the end of the prophetic books. It's the last book in a Jewish Bible, in the Jewish prophetic part of the Bible. The Bible ends with the book of Malachi, and the Jewish Bible ends with 2 Chronicles. I'm not going to go into why, but it's the end of the prophetic segment of the Bible. And he says, behold, Elijah the prophet is coming, and that great, terrible day, Lord, and he's going to make everything straight, restoring families together, okay? So you have Elijah the prophet coming. You have the building of the temple. Building of the temple. How do you know? Because I say so? No, the Bible says so. Where? Like Ezekiel chapter 37, last three passages, 26, 27, and 28, 40 through 48 contains the unused blueprints of the Messianic temple. Everyone's there, including the Messiah, who's called the Prince. Okay? So it's all very clear. And look at Ezekiel 37, how it ends. It ends by saying, when the sanctuary will be in your midst, then the nations will know that I am Lord, right? So you have a temple built, and then everyone knows, right? You have the full ingathering of the exiles. So imagine that right now, only half of the known Jews in the world live in Israel, which is huge. I mean, in the Second Temple, there was never a point where more than half of the Jews lived in the land of Israel. You'd have to go back to the first Temple period to find that, okay? But half of the Jews don't live in the land of Israel. Moreover, there are many, many people who think they're not Jewish, who are going to discover this, right? So we're talking about a full ingathering of the exiles, the full building of the temple, a worldwide peace, because the Messiah is going to rebuke many nations, and they will in turn take their implements of war spears and swords, and turn them into plowshares and pruning hooks. Lo yisa goy el goy cher v'lo yilmudu oy nechum. A nation will not lift up sword against nation, neither will learn of war anymore. Please read Isaiah chapter 2, verse 2 through 4. Like, just read it. You don't need any commentary. It just reads, it blows straight through, okay? Just read it, okay? So imagine, okay? So all this happens. The temple rebuilt, there's world peace, the nations gather into the land of Israel, set aside the resurrection of the dead, the whole world worships one God. In those days, no one will have to teach anyone of God, for they shall all know me from the least to the greatest, right? Mashiach is here. And then people say to him, hello, not so fast. I need to see your papers. That's not what's going to happen. What paper is he going to show you? Imagine all these things happen. The Beis Hamikdash, the temple is built, the final temple. All the nations then serve him. Daniel chapter 7, verse 14. Everybody. That's the whole point. And then everyone accepts him as the Davidic king. Imagine that. There's peace all over the world. The whole world knows about the God of Israel. The whole world, all those who survived the final war, celebrate the festival of Tabernacles, Sukkot, in Yerushalayim. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 16. And then some shmegegi, some yokel step, hold on, everyone, blows a whistle. Wait, not so fast. We need to see ID. No, he's not going to have to show ID. Like, what ID? What kind of ID? I'm asking you, think, use your head. What kind of ID would satisfy you? Imagine he said, okay, here it is. And he unravels a huge scroll, parchment, and all the names are there. Like, is that good enough? Like, to be the Messiah? Like, let's say someone comes forward tomorrow and just goes, here it is. Here's everyone. You'd go, well, how do I know? How do I know you didn't make this up? That's not how you know. What do you think is going to happen? And I get this question frequently. I love you guys, but think it through. What would you want? Would you want it embossed with some sort of 3D fine line engravings with shifting watermarks? Like, oh, he's the Messiah? No. So there's nothing in the Bible that says the way you know the Messiah is that he's going to produce identification. Where did this crazy idea come from? It's the idea that it's smoke and mirrors. That's all it is. It's just a bad shuffle. It's just a weird shuffle. Why, when magicians, when they do a trick like saw a lady in half, why do they need to put something on her? Why do they have to drape her, even for a second? Like, why do you need the cloth? Why do you need to put it in a box? Why don't you just saw it in half? Because it's a trick, right? You think about this. When you're watching a magic show and they're doing something, I don't know, sawing someone in half, okay? I used to be impressed. What did I think when I watched the Ed Sullivan show? I used to go like, how did he do that, right? But they put her in a box, right? They put her in a box. That was the key. And then they'd move it around the two boxes, and then the head would move in the feet. Why do you need a box? Why don't you just set her? Because the box is necessary for the magic trick. That's what this is. This is just pure deflection. The Messiah will not have to show identification. He's not going to have to show you, here's my genealogy. But this is a kind of way of creating distraction. Like, what do magicians have to do? When you're dealing with the church, most of the people are well-meaning, but they have to do something that magicians do, and that is distract your attention in order to perform a theological sleight of hand. That's what's going on stage. They've got to misdirect you. How are you going to say Jesus is the Messiah? Like, he did nothing, accomplished nothing. Even the things he said he didn't accomplish anything. The only thing he accomplished are things that he wasn't supposed to do to begin with, and that the text has been completely altered. Like a magic show, it's just distraction. It's like hide the ball. So what magicians do on stage is misdirection. You're looking here, and the sleight of hand's going here. By stating that somehow the genealogies have been lost, or the genealogies for the house of David have been lost. It's not a good magic trick. It's not David Blaine. It's not a Las Vegas magic trick. It's the kind of magic trick you see from a 7-year-old, where you see right through it. Messiah, I have news for you, is not going to have to show ID. They're making that up. So they create a straw man and then topple it and feel really strong. No. Mashiach is going to accomplish these things that are explicitly articulated in Isaiah chapter 11. when the Messiah will rebuke the nations and they will take their implements of war and turn them into implements of peace. The temple's going to be built. We don't need his ID. Like, what ID are you talking? What are you even talking? Like, what would he come in? With a boulder engraved in metal? So this is a silly argument. The idea is to distract you, to get you to worship Jesus, to worship idolatry. Many Christians who advance this, who peddle in this nonsense, they've been fooled too. So I don't want you to walk around and hate Christians. Don't hate them. They don't know any better. Just show people carefully that this is what the Messiah is supposed to do. There is nowhere in Tanakh that says he's going to show ID or he's going to show that he's a male, not a female, provide DNA. All nonsense. Anyways, thank you so much for that question. And please God, we will see a time when all the nations will speak b'safva brura, in a pure speech. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9. Thank you for that question.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא עובר